Okay, we'll call the 2016, well actually this isn't the annual meeting yet, Truth and Taxation hearing to order, and if you'll, actually, are they the same as the ones here on the bottom?
Yes, they are.
Okay. On the bottom of the first page of your budget that you have there, there's a list of millages there, which we have on a different sheet up here, but the same numbers. And they are the millages which the township is planning on collecting this year. They are, see on the bottom there, the allocated at 165, the roads at 1.5, the library at 0.2459, and the voted operational at 96 or 0.9653, and that's the that is what we put on the tax bill that you will be getting. Oh, they get both a summer and a winter from us in September and again in December. July. Oh, due by September.
Township doesn't.
Yeah, if you have any questions, ask Randy.
Here.
We have county and state in the summer,
Yes, but they're not township.
not township.
Okay.
Township,
Okay, and any questions on that? And we'll call the motion to adjourn that meeting, I guess.
I'll make a motion to adjourn that.
Moved and supported, all in favor.
why is that?
Opposed,
made
carried,
so much
left. Okay, now we'll call the annual meeting of Drummond Island Township for the year 2016. Am I too close or too loud?
Make a funny noise.
That's me. And I see our crowd appears to be down this year, probably because of spring break. Everybody went to Florida or Arizona or someplace.
Smarter than we
Huh?
are. Smarter than we are. Don't have to shovel.
Yeah. And Jolene, would you read the minutes of last year's annual meeting?
Sure will.
You need this thing. That's my water, don't you be drinking that.
Drummond Island Township Property Tax Millage Rates Proposal Hearing, March 28, 2015. Drummond Island Township Hall. Supervisor Sasso called the meeting to order at 1 p.m. All board members present. Millage collected for 2014, 1.64 allocated, 1.47 roads, 0.2459 library, 0.9653 operating. Meeting adjourned at 1:03 p.m. Drummond Island Township Annual Budget Hearing Meeting, March 28, 2015. Meeting called to order by Supervisor Sasso at 1:04 p.m. There were 40 citizens present. Clerk Kemppainen read the minutes of the March 29, 2014 Annual Budget Hearing Meeting. Motion to accept the minutes made by Trustee Bailey, supported by Trustee Tischer, and carried. Motion to approve 2015-2016 budget made by Dave Bardsley, supported by Carrie Leeper, and Dave DeGood. Motion carried. 40 yeas and 0 nays. Cleanup Day will be held June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Meeting times for 2015-16 are posted on the message board outside the town hall. Discussion at the meeting. Julie Colbert noticed the big gain in the miscellaneous income and questioned it. The township did a cutting near the township park this winter, and the proceeds from the cut went into miscellaneous income and will be used for special projects. George Moylan suggested the township have a media center in the hall, such as a television and DVD player for the public to have access to. The township already has public Wi-Fi and will consider his request. Julie Colbert wanted to know what can be done concerning the month of July recycle overage when the island is at its peak with visitors and residents, and also what can be done with the cardboard people want to leave. Frank will bring up this concern at the next recycle meeting. There will be some road work done on the Cream City Road where it narrows, allowing better traffic flow this year. Motion to adjourn made by trustee Tischer, supported by Carrie Leeper and carried. Meeting adjourned at 2:08 p.m. Submitted by Clerk Kemppainen.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to approve the minutes from last year.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from last year.
Support.
Moved and supported, additions or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Which takes us to going through the budget, I guess. Yeah, let's go right to that. Okay, I assume that you all have budgets on the table here. And the first page is the various sources of income that we have. And you'll notice they're pretty much in round numbers because we don't know exactly how many pieces, but they're close. If you want to look at that page and ask any questions, we'll pause for a second while you look it over. Maybe a little more set.
Wow.
5 minutes.
Swamp tax.
What's the swamp tax?
Oh, it's the money that we get paid for state land that they don't pay ad valorem taxes on. And we get paid so much an acre for it. I checked it lately, I think it's about $2.50, isn't it, Randy? Or do you know?
I don't even know what they're paying.
Okay, and it's split between the school and the township and the county government. And we get, I think, $1 for each acre. And so if you're looking at, and if you notice, it's quite a variation in those three numbers there. And I'm not quite sure what happened. Last year they may have been behind and made up for it or what they did, but do you happen to know how many acres we have in that, Randy?
Not off the top of my head.
There's no reason for him to know that. It doesn't get to put
What
any
they
value
do
on
is they
it.
just
Or any of the other state land. They do it on their own and they tell us there it is.
Right.
If they make much say in it, do it.
Yeah.
Does it always deviate so much, Frank?
What's that?
Does it always deviate, the budget?
No, it's usually
Pretty consistent.
pretty compact, and I'm not quite sure what happened there. I know that they sent Georgia a check, and we don't turn them away. But
What I suspect happened is
What?
I think they moved some more of the property out of ad valorem into the swamp tax category. So kind of
they may
washed.
have. And it was about half and half, the state land on Drummond, and they've got, 47,000 acres, somewhere in that area. And it depends on how and when they got it, whether it's ad valorem or called swamp tax here. Usually it's PILT, payment in lieu of taxes. And the state just doesn't bother to tell us what they're doing with it. They just send us checks. I used to write them nasty letters about it and tell them that they weren't as high as all the rest of the property, and they should be, but they just ignore you. Yeah, Dave.
If they move from ad valorem to swamp, is the ad valorem tax the same rate as the swamp tax, or are they just saving money by?
No, they pay. What, you got a vibration there, Cousin?
You're pounding on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget I do
They're
that.
getting in trouble again.
No, the ad valorem tax is included in the amount that you see under property taxes up there, and the state pays that, and it's part of that total. The swamp tax is separate.
But the question was, if they're paying $1 an acre swamp tax, what are they paying ad valorem? If they're moving
Oh, okay.
acreage from ad valorem to swamp tax, they may be paying $5 an acre on ad valorem and only $1 an acre on swamp.
Yeah, they pay whatever we have on millage for their ad valorem tax. And when I said $1, that's how much the township gets. It's at least $2.50 that they pay, which isn't a lot on 40 acres. You're talking about $100.
Let me rephrase the question. Did the state ad valorem total tax payments go up or down this year? And by how much?
The ad valorem tax is set by them at so much an acre.
If they reduce the acreage on ad valorem, and that's a higher tax rate than swamp tax, the increase in the swamp tax is not good news, it's bad news.
Right, except that they don't have to pay what we voted in there because they have a date that had to be voted by. A couple of years ago, when we changed our road millage from 3 to 1.5, they still paid 3 when everybody else was paying 1.5 because the way it's set up, they couldn't change it. I don't know what they're doing now. Do you know, Georgie?
No.
But the state just does that. They don't care what we think about it.
Yeah, we don't have any say.
Yeah.
It don't mean different.
They come along and want to sell you the bottom land out there, but they don't want to pay either swamp or ad valorem tax on it, even though they own it, according to them. And we can probably get you the answers to those, Dave. I just don't happen to know right offhand because it changes every now and again. We don't have anything to say about it.
Something to write our senator about or something.
Who's talking?
Dave, he said it's something to write to senator.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, he probably likes to say he got letters. Probably has the same results as complaining to the state about the taxes they pay though. Okay, other questions on that page? I have an awful time seeing him glare.
Shut some lights off.
Nah,
That's okay.
these people, they're not bashful or holler at me.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to the next page. Trustees. Supervisor, elections, assessor, and board of review. Give me a minute to look those over and see if you have any questions on them. Take another pink pill, but sometimes it makes me goofy.
Well, we don't need that.
You wouldn't know the difference. would you? Got that thing off your leg. Oh, Billy had a thing he was wearing on his leg. Oh, yeah, a different one was off.
Okay.
Somebody out there got a question. Okay. If you have a question and we've gone on to the next page, that's fine. Just raise your hand and ask it. We'll go back and look at it. So we'll go then to page, oh boy, they're numbered 3.
We got fancy this year.
Yeah. Which is the clerk, treasurer, and office expenses. Okay, any questions on page 3? I'll go to page 4. The town hall and general township. Oh, that must be the end of the other. No, it's just the beginning of the top of the page.
I know. You're good.
Huh?
You're good.
Quite truly, we already know everything. I don't have to answer any questions.
You have the chosen few here. We're the
Who said
chosen
that?
few. Eileen.
Yeah.
Be nice.
I'm doing my best.
I'm impressed.
There's a hand up.
Where? Oh, okay.
Right on the, building and grounds, requested for 2016 is 20,000, was spent was 15, what is the additional 18,000 for?
This on the,
Page 4,
Building and grounds. On the hall?
on Township Hall.
Township.
oh, we were, for building improvements, and we don't have any special ones, I guess, in mind. But there's been some discussion of improving the handicapped access and trying to think what else people have brought to our attention that we might.
An elevator that elevates the wheelchairs.
Yeah, that's what they make these little elevators. The same people that make those chair things that go up and down the stairs there, like the one we got going up and down right over there. And they make little elevators out there, and we are considering, we haven't, and we're going to investigate the cost of putting one out here with a little enclosure around it that will allow wheelchairs to be lifted from ground level to porch level out there, and then they can wheel all over the upstairs in here once they get in. They have to use that ramp out there now. Doesn't work too bad if you got somebody strong enough to push you up that hill. It can be a little bit scary going back down it. So
You gotta have somebody you can trust.
you gotta have somebody you can trust and will hang on.
Frank's concerned.
So and, I'm having a little trouble walking. I looked around at who might be pushing me, and I said, maybe we'll put in a little elevator. So, but it is something we're looking at, and we haven't had a meeting for quite a while on it, but we had a building improvement committee at one time that made suggestions like that, and we made some changes in the building according to their suggestions. In fact, I guess that's how that lift on the stairs got there, And it's not used quite so much for people going up and down the stairs as it is for things, cases of food or whatever, going up and down the stairs. They get a little shaky sometimes when you got to carry them and you got them in both hands and you're trying to walk. So,
Under general township, you've got a $10,000 increase in new equipment.
I'm not,
Well, we do need those little furnace things. We talked about that.
Yeah.
what,
For the ambulance,
And fire.
fire hall,
oh, yeah.
and the museum.
Oh, we're looking at the possibility and are in the process of getting some prices on changing the heat in the museum, the fire hall, and the ambulance building over here. The electricity that they're heated with now has really jumped up. And so we're looking at possibility and cost of changing over to some gas heat there. And of course, you never know, maybe the gas heat will go up on us, but I just did it myself, and it's amazing what's happened. My heating bill is up somewhere between a third and a half of what it was. So it's something we're looking at. And part of that is also that we always used to shut the museum completely down, turn the heat off, and people that the committee that runs that were getting concerned about what the lack of heat was doing to some of the exhibits that are down there. And so this year we left the heat on quite low. It's 40 degrees, I think is what it's at. But the heat was left on. Of course, that increased the cost because of that electricity that's being heated with. So we're looking to see if we can save some money there. And if we get a payback of 2 or 3 years or something in that vicinity, then we'll probably do it. And that money's been put in there in case of that. You gotta tell me if somebody puts their
I
hand
will.
up. Have an awful thing.
There's no hands. We can move on.
Okay, we'll go to the next page then. And as I said before, if you want to go back to something, that's fine. Cemetery, fire department, and ambulance. If any of you are signed up, yes.
Julie covered back here. Last year, if I remember correctly, there was a little discussion about the fire company wanting additional funds for improvements.
I'm sorry, for what?
Improvements of equipment.
Fire
Yeah, we added onto that building last year, and Steve's not here, is he?
No.
We got somebody here from the fire department. Tell us what they've been. Go ahead,
Jody.
Jody.
We added on to it, we're still not in it. We added on to it, but we're still not in it yet. We're waiting for electrical to get done.
Oh, you still got some more.
I don't know what the holdup is on
Some
that.
more work there. We have, when we get way in the back of this thing, we have emergency money that's set aside that we get back from the millage that is paid to the county for emergency. And it goes into OES 911 for the operation there. And 65% of the money that is collected for that is returned to the taxing units. In our case, it's $35,000 a year. I think it was 33 on this one when I looked at it. And that money we usually do not spend for day-to-day operations. We use it for new equipment and such. A year or two ago, we bought a lift for the ambulance so that our people could get somebody on the stretcher, and then they could actually lift the stretcher up, wheel it up to the ambulance, and the ambulance would take a hold of it and put it inside for them, so that if they were short of muscle like some of us are, they'd still be able to handle those people. And that was, I forget, it was some $30,000 or so. Wasn't it? Yeah. And that came out of the emergency funds that we have there, and we have other money. We got a couple $100,000 in there. I have to go back and look. And so if we need,
You have 200, it's in the back.
yeah, we'll come to that a little bit later. But that's like if we need a new ambulance, and I think we're going to in the not too distant future, we have money set aside for that. And it can only be spent on emergency operations, fire and ambulance. We can spend it on the day-to-day operation, or we can spend it on equipment, but we can't spend it on the park or anything else that we have. Yes.
Along similar vein, under ambulance, contract labor, there was an increase of almost $5,000.
Oh, where are you at?
Ambulance.
On the ambulance, okay. Yeah.
Over $7,000 spent, whereas $2,000 was budgeted.
Contract labor is War Memorial Building.
Oh, okay. We, War Memorial Hospital does all our billing for us, and they get a percentage of what they collect for doing that. And since we have had them, our collections have gone way up. If you'll notice, the ambulance almost operated at a break-even point. It used to lose quite a lot of money. And so it's been a worthwhile service
So
that
the
we've
contract
gotten
labor
into.
for billing being done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
The contract laborers, they're
Billing.
they're
And
billing for the ambulance.
Yes, when the ambulance goes out, whoever's being hauled is going to get a bill, which may or may not be covered by insurance. And in more cases than not, we have an intercept out of the Sioux or Kinross or St. Ignace because we don't have enough people to have all the life support that we have to have on the ambulance. And so they come and get on the ambulance and ride with the people. And those things are all billed or paid for through War Memorial Billing Service up there. And I don't know if you've gotten into how complicated medical billing can be, but it can be rather complicated, and we have their people that do it for a living every day doing it for us.
James Files.
Yeah.
I guess you're starting to get into what I had questions on, about the ambulance billing itself. As far as the income, it looks like the ambulance would have brought in or generated $63,000.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an idea how much that is patient billing versus money we get back from the county through OES?
No, that's all billing.
That's all billing?
Yeah, OES money is totally
Or is
separate.
that just for capital, not for any operations?
yes.
Okay.
OES money is used for capital because we have determined that we want to use it for capital. We could use it for operations, but we never have. We paid for that out of the general fund, and for the money that we get for billing goes into operation, but the money we get from OES doesn't.
Perfect, that answers my question. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? page 6. Which is the airport, parks, and museum. Yes,
For the airport, why is there almost a 100% increase in maintenance and repairs for the requested budget?
oh, we've got some listings in there this year. There's gonna be some painting done on the runway, marking for the planes. So last year we did some crack sealing. I think that's all the new things that we have going up there. We have ongoing bills there, you know, plowing and mowing, AWAS.
And what is AWAS?
AWAS, it's a navigational tool that's up there. It costs us like $4,000 a year, I think. And you can call up there and get a weather report that tells you what's going on. The planes can call it to find out what the visibility is and the wind directions and such when they're coming in. To, you know.
Okay, and so that takes me to my next question. Thank you for the segue. Why was the AWAS more than twice what was budgeted? Actual spent was over $7,000 where the budget was free.
Just a minute now. AWAS and contract labor. I'm not sure what happened there.
I am.
All right.
Do you want me to answer this?
Yeah, go ahead.
They did a feasibility study, state of Michigan did, with MDOT, $2,230 for that. Crack sealing, they did that also, $2,150. And then the regular, that's why it's higher than it normally is. That was not budgeted.
And what was the feasibility study
With,
I have no idea.
yeah,
James was here, he could tell you.
every year, we, usually James and I, go down to Lansing and meet with the Armstrong Engineers that is right there at the airport where the Michigan Aeronautics people are. And we meet with them and the Michigan Aeronautics people and talk about plans for the airport and things that they'd like to see done. And we have $150,000 a year that's set aside for our airport to use for certain things, except we're not allowed to use it because we don't meet all the federal standards. So we end up giving that to somebody else. But while we're there, we talk to them about the AWAS that was put in there and the painting that goes on there and any blacktop that has to be done. And they normally, the state will pay a share of that and we pay a share of that. And the feasibility study is to list those things that we might be doing in the future.
and that cost us $3,000?
Can't hear you.
$2,300. I know. There's a lot of new things that are going on with
Yeah.
the state.
We changed, and I don't know if there was really any cost to it, but they've been complaining to us for quite a few years, the state has, because they don't like golfers going across the airport. And some of our golfers have been a little concerned about it when they got out there when they shouldn't have been. But we, last year, I guess it was, changed, so instead of having 2 crossings to get back and forth from one side of the golf course to the other, we cut it to 1, and we had to change the designation on some of the holes to do that. But actually, I think it made the place a little safer, and we've been fortunate. We've had some people walk out in front of the airplanes and stuff. We haven't really had any accidents caused by that, and we don't want any. So that's one of the changes that the state requested that we did. They'd like us to get rid of both of them, but that makes it a little difficult. I told them I would if they pay for 9 holes on one side or the other, or both. Then we'd drive around to do it, but I don't still want to do that. We talked about a tunnel. I suggested a bridge at one point in time. They didn't like that idea.
We could get the Mexicans to do the.
Yeah. Oh, they do. I don't know. Have you ever noticed those signs up there that say 14-foot clearance or whatever? There were little signs over on the highway. They were concerned that if a high truck happened to be going by the end of that runway at just the same time the plane was coming in, the plane might hit the truck. Well, the odds of that happening are astronomical. So we put up some signs and made them happy. And if you have any questions about signs, ask James. Other questions?
All right, what's the new equipment? $10,000 for the town park.
At the park?
Yes.
Okay, Blaine's here. He came in to our budget hearing that we had a week ago when we were drawing this up, and requested that we add to the budget some money for a pump station at the not a pump out station for trailers to empty their septic waste. And he's looking into that. We had a study, I don't know, 10 years ago or more.
Yeah, it was in 05 actually with Larry Hall.
Yeah. And so we're resurrecting the study and talking to the people that did that to find out what's going on there. And Dwayne's putting together a package for us that shows that how many people would use a pump station or a drop station if we had one, and how much we charge, and how long it would take to pay for putting that station in there. And we haven't finished all of the details on it yet, but the plan is when we get it, to want to look and see how long it'll take to pay for itself. And this money is more of a loan than an expenditure. And as the money is collected, we pay this back, and it would go back into the fund that it's coming out of here. And eventually, it would add to the park income and could be used for further improvements. But any improvements that we're making down there, any major improvements, would be paid for from the funds collected at the park, not from taxpayer dollars.
I do actually have some of that information. I don't know if you want to look at it right now, or I could tell them.
Well, you can give them an idea. Yeah, you'll have to put it all together.
Yeah, that's fine. Basically, the dump station is going to cost around $10,000. We're thinking, and for these trailers that are coming in and out and stay for a week or 2 weeks and stuff, they don't have enough holding tanks to stay there that long. So they need to obviously dump it, and we're trying to get away from them maybe dumping it in places we don't want it. So for a sanitary reason, we need to have this done. And just kind of putting together a rough estimate of how many dumps we'd have per year, probably about 165 to 200 probably dumps a year. And depending upon the cost, we charge them to dump it, whether it be at $20, 165 dumps would be $3,300 the park would be bringing in. So in about 2.5 years, it would pay for itself. And after that, it would all be profit. I mean, there's going to be some minor maintenance.
No, there'll be some expenses.
Yeah. But for the most part, in 3 years, the major part of it will be paid for. And like Frank said, we could use some of that other money for possible showers and something down the road that we really need.
Those things, we have a proposal on those, that the showers and flush toilets and things like that cost a lot more money than a septic tank for a
Oh, absolutely,
Dump
absolutely.
system.
I've been talking to Rob Wolf, who's head
Yeah.
of the DEQ. I just talked to him yesterday. He called me and he said there's lots of new techniques and rules and stuff, and he would like to come out in May and get with you and the rest of whoever wants to be there, go around and look at some sites and maybe some future sites of some things that we want to do, and also down to the he mentioned it, down to the ferry dock. You were talking about maybe doing something.
Yeah, I've looked at it. I talked to Gib about it. Ernie and I went down there about changing the
Location.
outhouses and the location of those down there and building them a little differently. And that's an ongoing thing that
Yeah.
we're doing
Well,
there.
he actually brought it up to me when I was
Yeah.
talking to him, and he said he'd like to maybe look at that also why he's here in probably the middle to end of May. So,
That's, I mean, I'd be happy to go down there with it.
so anyway, that's I think how we can actually justify basically paying Township back its money. I mean, it's going in one hand and out the other, but it's all the same money. But I think we can
No, it's
do it.
not.
What's that?
Once you give that money back to us, we're going to spend on something good.
I know you all, right?
Yes.
The actual question is actually for Dwayne. Now, when you talk about having a tank or a system for, I assume, like fifth wheels and campers,
Right.
is it basically a septic system that you might also use for bathrooms and showers?
It very well could be. Rob from the DEQ said, depending upon the site, it may be big enough and viable enough to accommodate both.
So, what is that something that you're looking at? Is instead of just having one for trailers and then later one for bathrooms?
Yeah, well, and he suggested, and I was going to get with these guys later, he suggested to do maybe a 2-3 year plan, have it on the permit. Doesn't mean you have to do it right away. It just means it's going to be on the permit. He said it's a lot easier to get it on there now than try to do an afterthought about later. So
I didn't hear everything James
oh,
said.
okay. He was asking about whether the drain field, the septic tank for the dump station would accommodate also maybe showers and that type of thing.
We can look at that, but yeah, I need a lot more information before we're ready to go forward with something like that. Because, you know, if we can pay for this dump station in 3 years, fine.
Right.
It's an improvement that isn't costing the taxpayers money and is improving the park. When you start getting into showers and flush toilets, you're getting into, we spent, those bathrooms that are in Detour, and they've been there a long time. Right. It cost us $50,000 when we put them in.
Right.
Just think what they cost today.
Well,
Yeah.
and I understand that, but there's no way for you to make money back in Detour at the bathrooms. For the park, there's going to be more revenue coming in because more people are going to be able to use the park and will use the park because we have more amenities.
Well,
I have a question.
the bathroom, just a second, the bathrooms in Detour are a whole different deal because they don't cost transport money because they belong to the Transportation Authority. But we own the building there, the museum, and the rent for using that museum building is taking care of those bathrooms and see if they're cleaning everything done there.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm not trying to compare it to anything. I'm just saying if we have more amenities down there, I think we can get more campers down there, would generate more revenue for the township in a whole.
Well, like I say, it's something that we need to study a little more. Yes.
What about the township applying for a grant? There's a lot of money out there floating around through coastal zone management where they're encouraging communities like
Yes, there's quite a
Drummond.
little list that's been made up that I went over and talked to the preacher about here the other day of money that can come in. And that all needs to be studied because it all comes with strings attached. And some of the strings are something you can live with and some of them aren't. So some of that's under study, yes. But we have put some things in that if we'd have stayed away from the grant, we could have done it cheaper.
Well, I think we need to, we can say we can study it, but I think we need to have some kind of a timeline of when we're going to study it and how we're going to study it and when the study is going to be over.
You said that guy was coming up here.
Yeah, in May.
Yeah.
So.
But I do think, Dwayne, I think it's very good that we do your dump station plan, that you also possibly write in the possibility of putting in showers later.
Yes.
So, because the sooner you do it, the easier it's gonna be to do it if you have to do it later down the line.
Exactly, and that's what Rob Walton said from GQ. And there's a lot of things happening with DITA, and these guys are trying to bring more tourism here earlier and later in the year. And if they do that, they're not going to be able to, you know, be outside as much. So they're going to need showers, and they're not going to be able to jump in the lake and clean up or run around. So we really need to start thinking about the future here in the next couple of years of what they're doing and to have accommodations for these people that are going to be here.
Like I say, that all needs to be studied, and we need some answers on it.
I know we keep studying it, but
Yes, Doc.
Scott Aldridge, I live in the park. And
Well, hang it, okay.
I'm close enough, I hear
Yeah.
every one of those things. And I'd like to know where this proposed station is gonna go. I pay a lot of tax money there. And I don't need a dump station close to my house. Nor showers. I'm just interested.
Have you got a couple proposed sites for that guy to look at?
yeah, if you're doing actually a run that you guys had a while back.
I have it right here.
You got it right here. In between the beach and the ramp, there was one of the locations where they came up with when you're pulling in the park. The beach is on your left or on your right, and then you go a little further in the ramp. And there's a little
Woods right there.
little woods with an area where they've already approved it at one point. Whether it will be approved again, I don't know, but he seems to think it was all right. So that's one of them as you're coming in and out. So
But yeah, I think that'd be a disaster, but that's.
well, it's a disaster when they pull their tank as they're heading out the road too, and it's going down the township road. So I mean, you can have a spot for them to put it, or they're going to put it where they want to.
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen anybody unload their
No.
sewage going down the.
No, you probably haven't seen them. That's
And so, it's like a threat, but I don't think that happens.
it does happen.
So it does happen.
Yes, there's no doubt.
yeah,
We have
actually,
a rustic park and we're turning it into a large area for pump outs and big.
No. Well, the sites aren't. We're not getting any more sites than we have right now. So I don't think we're going to get any more people in there that can fit in the park. 43 sites is as many as we can hold. So there's a need for it, Scott. I mean, it really is.
Well, then maybe I don't understand what the definition of rustic can be.
well, okay, this pump station or drop station that we're talking about is basically a large septic tank,
The drain field.
which may or may not have
Right.
a drain field on it, that will be pumped and hauled elsewhere, just like your septic tank is now and again, and mine. So it's not a direct deal there. It's people being able to pull up there with their vehicles and dump the restroom facilities that they have on that. And they do
So it
have a tendency to just take the thing out and let it run
I mean, it's a way
alongside the road.
It's a way to control it.
And I've seen it out on the knobs, just you going down the road and that thing's dripping and the cap's off. I've seen them coming from the south shore. And you can tell they've just been there because they've emptied their septic from their tail thing just kind of on the side of the road as they're driving along. And it's against the law. If they get caught, they could be in quite a lot of trouble, but they don't seem to get caught much.
This begs the question, is it a plan that all these big campers are gonna go to the park to unload?
No, they're already
No.
going there.
Just
Yeah.
the ones that are there.
Like at any other parking areas? Are there other pump stations on the island?
I think Denny has the ability to pump those things out and haul it away. And Blaine can do it for boats, but not for campers.
Trailhead, I think, has.
Trailhead.
Trailhead's got facilities there to do that. One of the other things will be,
Wow, and this.
yeah, okay. There, which is one of my concerns. I don't believe that we should take business away from those private owners.
I agree.
And so it's something we're going to have to be careful with. And one of the things that we're going to be looking at here as we look at that is how do our rates compare to the rates of those other places? Are those guys coming there because we give them a cheaper place to camp and cheaper dropping of their septic waste? And if that's the case, then I think we're going to have to adjust our fees down there to reflect that, because we should not be undercutting the private business guys and taking their business away from them.
Well, you're directly planning to do that.
Well,
Okay.
those people, the people are already going there. Actually, I think the possibility exists that when we get finished here and make some adjustments, because there are improvements there, that we may lose some customers who decide to go someplace else.
I don't think so. I think we'll make it up with other people coming there, but we need, as the island grows, we need more places for them to go, and that's just one of the places. I mean, the other places are going to fill up also, but I mean, it's been a part of the Drummond Island for
If
years.
there's money to be made there, some of these private business guys are going to make it. You know, if they're going to look at that, if it's a good deal, you can bet they'll be in on it. It's not like that we're going to have it all to ourselves, and we are not going to undercut them. That's not our role. Other questions? We didn't have all the answers for this, so we really shouldn't have gotten so deep into it.
Well, we've been talking about it for years, Frank. Just because we don't want to, some of us don't want to do it, doesn't mean it's going to go away. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, it needs to be addressed, and we can't just keep putting it on the back burner.
And we've agreed that we will take a look at it. We have not agreed to fix it so that with no investment, whoever's running that place can make a lot of money. So,
Well, that's not true.
other questions on the budget? Go to page 7. The golf course, and that's all that's on that page, I guess. Yes.
Frank, and obviously this is just a recent budget, but can you give us an idea on how the revenues have been for the township golf course over the last 10 or 15 years? They going up, they going down, staying about the same?
At our local golf course?
Yes.
We've actually been having a problem the last few years in that the number of golfers and members has been dropping off some. And one of the things we need to do, I guess, is get out there and see if we can get some young people involved in that so that we have more golfers. And Paul can probably answer, not Paul, Ray can probably give you a better answer than that, but he told me the other day that we'd lost, I think, 8 members, partly because of old age, and I don't like to discuss that, and because people have had different problems, and some moved away. So, Ray, you want to?
The members we're talking about, actually 4 of them have passed away. So
Yeah, so we're not getting them back?
No, we're not getting them back. We do have other people coming in since in 3 years that I've been there. Actually, our revenue 3 years ago was about $65,000, and this year was 72. So it has gone up slightly in the past 3 years. I don't know what happened in the years prior to that, but in the last 3 years we've gone up about $7,000. And we've got some plans. We're trying to do some things to, like Frank said, get some younger people in there to make up for the ones that we're losing.
Thank
At
you.
one time, we had a waiting list for cart barns of, it was over 20 people. And then, if that's been, 10 years or so ago, that we built that new cart barn that's up there. And we built it by having 20 people that wanted to go in there pay the rent on the cart barn for, I think it was 7 years in advance. And so we got the cash and we put up the building. Now, we didn't have any income from that for 7 years because they'd already paid it, but we had the building. The building is paid for, and people looking for places to park their golf carts has gone down. We actually have some vacant spaces up there. Something we never had.
We have 2
before.
vacancies right now.
Yeah. And so we do need to get some more people. We've been studying the rates because to see if the possibility of a raise in rates would help with the deficit that we have there. And there are some places where we can raise a few dollars, but not a lot. The greens fees are pretty much in competition with anybody else that's offering the same kind of stuff we're offering. And so we're continuing to look at that. Hopefully, if the traffic picks back up on Drummond, because it dropped off for a while there, that the ferry had problems for a while, was not taking in enough money to operate. We had some savings that we spent continuing to operate, but we're getting to the point where a year or two ago we did raise the rate some, and the traffic last year was slightly higher than the year before, but not really enough to make up for the operational cost of the thing. It's moving slowly back. I don't know what this new ownership at the Rock is going to do. Golf courses are like restaurants. You need more than one decent one, in order to attract people. Nobody wants to go and eat the same place every night for 3 weeks and play golf at the same golf course every day for a week or 2 weeks. They like to have some variety, which is difficult to come by around here. But I hold out hope that things will be better and that the traffic will pick up. You don't have any way of knowing, but the rest of the state is coming back some. Up in the UP, we're usually like 3 years behind. And when things were dropping off, they stayed okay here for a while. And now things are coming back, and we're not coming back as fast as other places are, but I think we will. So we'll see. We certainly need more traffic if we're going to continue with some of the things we have. And we're watching those things closely. Yeah. Did you have something else?
Go ahead. Thank you, Frank.
And some people that aren't particularly happy with Jeeps running all over the place. But if those two things weren't happening, the ferry's income would not be high enough to sustain itself. There's always a little bad comes with a little good. Any other questions on page 7? Go to page 8 there. Oh, there's a whole bunch of different stuff, okay. The library is something we're gonna want to have some discussion on, but we'll wait till we finish the budget. You have another question, Julie? Oh, it's not Julie, okay.
So what was the outcome of recycling questions last year? Is it going to offer cardboard pickup? Another trailer, because a lot of times looking at the trailer is just jam packed. Like 2 days after, yeah, and it's only.
I can only hear part of what you're saying.
Recycle. She wanted to know if anything was done about the recycle.
Oh, we talked to them about it, and I think they changed the schedule a little bit. I see a sign on the door that says they're going on Thursdays now.
Cardboard.
I've looked at this cardboard situation, and they take cardboard in Detour, for instance, but they have a semi-trailer over there. We had one here, and people didn't like it because you had to walk up about, I don't know, 7 or 8 steps, probably 6 feet or close to it. You had to go up a set of steps and go in and put your stuff in there. And lots of our seniors in particular, I guess I might be one of those, didn't like having to go up those stairs carrying that cardboard. And they wanted to go back to the trailer like we have, which we did. And, you know, I can talk to them about putting one in here, but that means the other one's going to be gone. And
we can't have both?
Can't have both.
Why not?
Because they lose money on the deal now.
But cardboard's a commodity, Frank.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Cardboard is a commodity. They make money on selling and recycling cardboard. So I have a very difficult time believing that a tractor trailer full of cardboard they would lose money on.
Yeah, well, the prices of all that stuff goes up and down depending on what it is. And some of the stuff that goes in there always loses money, but it's a service and we get rid of it. There was a big push here not too long ago by Smith, the garbage collectors there. They wanted to take over all the recycling in the county, which would have closed the recycling center, and they would have hauled it all off. They were going to haul it to Wisconsin, and somehow they thought they were going to make money on that. The county turned down their request, so we continue to do as we were. And there is a private place in the Sioux that does recycling, but they only take things they can make money on, which puts the county recycling thing in even a worse position because they're losing some of the things that they were collecting and selling and making a couple bucks on. Now they only get the stuff that they don't make any money on, or very little. So it's a tough business. It's quite popular because it gives jobs to people that have a hard time finding work. A lot of the people that work at the recycling center aren't going to get a very good job someplace else.
Right, as long as we're talking about the recycle trailer, they no longer take batteries of any kind.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They took
That little bucket off the front?
bucket off the trailer. They will no longer take batteries, nor will they take light bulbs, especially the fluorescent.
Yeah.
Well, what's the solution for that?
I don't know. They didn't offer.
Where we
Put it in the garbage.
Put them in the garbage?
Yeah.
That's what'll happen, yeah.
Let all that mercury just go out in the air, yeah.
Well, I noticed like my hearing aid batteries used to have mercury in them, but the new ones don't. So they seem to last longer. I got a whole bottle of them at home that I'm going to bring down and drop in there.
No longer.
There are places that will take them. So,
We just have to find them.
yeah, not that it'll do most people any good, but at the tribal center, they'll take back all your hearing aid batteries there. I assume if you get them there, that they'll take them back there. I don't know that for sure. But I'm sure there are other places that it.
So is the township gonna find an alternative for recycling batteries then?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Ed Detour what's going on there. I haven't talked to him for a while. And you used to be able to take big batteries to junkyards and things and sell them.
Okay.
You never, yeah,
Car battery, truck battery.
you never know how much you're going to get for them.
Actually, they take old computers and any electrical equipment, stuff like that, at these salvage yards too, so.
Yeah, the recycling center will take those things if you take them there.
I'm talking about salvage yards.
Oh, yeah.
Junk yards. They'll take batteries, they'll
Right.
take computers, they'll take whatever.
But will they come here and take them? That's
No.
what Julie's asking.
Well, yeah, I understand.
No, I think
You have to take them to them.
Yeah, you'll have to.
we might be able to get somebody who comes like we do with our dump day thing.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can do that or not, but maybe you find somebody that was interested in coming down here and announcing on such and such a day between these hours. You can bring that stuff. I would check it. Yes, Dave.
Yeah, well, what about on dump day? Maybe you could have a battery. That's a salvage yard type item. Just have a 55-gallon drum or a garbage can to throw our batteries in. Because I save my little batteries in a bag. I probably got a few years worth at home right now.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I got lots of them too. Yes.
And maybe whoever drives the trailer up there might want to get into that on their way back, stop by the salvage yard, have a 55-gallon drum they could drop off, and they're going to get paid for it. So
Yeah.
maybe whoever does the recycling.
I don't know, but certainly somebody could look into something like that. I know that they don't come out and pick them up at the recycling place. If you take a computer there, an old one, they will take those things. But you got to haul them up there yourself. And you got to catch them at the right time.
Well, Ron Wright and Jerry Brown take the trailer.
Right. And maybe that they had a place where you could dump batteries at their place or whatever. They're going to make money doing it, so they might want to get into it. They got to go anyway.
Yeah, that's, of course, Bob Rollins' place is still there, but I don't know exactly how they're operating anymore on 3 Mile Road there. And see, his wife died. I saw the paper the other day. And you got Malfunction Junction, some of those places, but I haven't really dealt with them. So, maybe we can find out something, That'd be a good job for you, Pete. So, anything else? Yeah, each one of those things is individual that you're looking at there under community. So, no questions there. We'll go on to the.
When's spring cleanup going to be this year?
Yeah.
11, 12, 13.
Oh, it's on my agenda thing here, but we're not to it yet. But as long as you ask, dump day 11, 12, 13th of June.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
What was I doing? Turn this page. Page 9. These are the funds that we have money in. Usually somebody wants to know when we're going to blacktop, and I haven't even discussed it with the county yet. It won't be this year, maybe next year. We've got road fund $445,000. Yeah, we'll get another $150,000 put on to that. Maybe next year I'll start discussing it with them and see what they have to say. General savings, emergency funds, library funds. Yeah, we might as well finish this and then we'll talk about the library. We will, if I can.
Right?
Yeah.
You said you were gonna talk to them about next year about paving the roads and stuff?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah. Does that mean you're gonna run for township supervisor again?
I didn't say that. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Okay,
We have a question.
Lisa McDonald.
oh, yes, Lisa?
On that CD account, last year it was 921,000, now it's up to 1.1 million. Where do you have that invested? What kind of, that's almost 25% interest.
Which account she talking about?
The CD account.
You put some of the tax money in.
Or you put some tax money in?
Yeah, those CDs, it's money mixed together to hopefully get us the best return we can. It's not on anything in particular. We have in the books where each bit of that money belongs, but it's not, the CDs may contain more than one category.
Have you thought about investing that in something other than CDs, but you're getting what?
We do think about that. We've been watching, and CDs are not a very good investment at this point in time. We do not invest in risky things with that money, only reasonably sure things. And we don't invest in things that will have to tie your money up for too long a period of time. And so we're kind of limited. We used to be able to make pretty good money on interest, but
Well, if you're interested in investing in this, I can give you the name of a real good company.
let's see. You're trying to drum up some business for your son?
Yes. Socks right now wearing a t-shirt. Oh, really?
He should call me sometime, tell me how wonderful the things are.
Well, I checked around a year ago and our credit union
Yeah.
had the best interest. We were comparable to lots of banks around here.
Yeah, they're all low. I did find one credit union that was like a 100th of a point or something higher, and it's not worth. Okay. This one doesn't have any number. Okay, I know what it is. Okay, any other questions on anything in the whole thing? Yes.
Yes, on page 10.
On page 10?
Yes, towards the bottom, it says ice rink 2% money. What is that regarding?
Union money.
It's the.
Yeah, that ice rink and the property that's over there was partially paid for by 2% money grants from the tribe. And we've spent most of what we got there, but we still have around $15,000 left. And it was given to us for the ice rink. And one of the things that we've looked at over the years, but we haven't had a lot of luck with, is covering it. And I don't know how much it would cost, but I would say it's going to be north of $100,000 for, just to cover it. So, but that's what that money's for. We have spent some of it in the last few years. We put that well in that's over there so that we can water it there. We upgraded some electric over there. We've been spending some money, but it has to be spent in connection with the ice rink if we're gonna spend the tribal 2% money that we got. And we've applied for more, but we haven't received any more in the last 2 or 3 years, so. Other questions? Then we'll entertain a motion to accept the budget. That can come from the floor or.
I make a motion, we accept the budget as presented.
Support. And any further discussion at all? All in favor? We'll try speaking. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The budget is passed. Okay, now that takes us to library.
We need the library.
Are you married in the library? Actually, I think that was right. You need this.
Did you want to preface it with something?
Oh, yeah, that's, the library system kind of changed here a few years ago. And at that time, I thought they were going to ask us to actually join into the system that they have there. And those places were all paying a $500,000. And it got dropped somewhere along the line. The previous guy that ran that place didn't put it in. But we're still looking at doing something there. And we're looking at the possibility of changing from a $250,000 to a $500,000 for library operation. But if we do it locally, then we retain quite a bit of say over what happens there. If we do it through the system, then we lose all say about what happens there. They run it. So that's part of what we're looking at. We haven't decided for sure, and I'd like your opinions on it, whether we should go for the increased millage to operate the library or not, and perhaps what Pam has to say will help you with information.
We've always been involved in a co-op situation, and that's so that all of the libraries can receive funding and come up with equal services. And what they've done in the past, they restructured and they became Superior District Library, and we're one of the 8 affiliates under Superior District
Just take
Library.
that out
Like this. So Superior District Library was created, and we have 8 affiliates. And there's 2 libraries of the 8 affiliates that are contract libraries, Curtis Library and Drummond Library, which means we operate on our own millage. So, and the luxury of operating on our own millage is the fact that we stay independent. But being part of, being an affiliate, what we benefit from that is we get services there's no way we could possibly handle independently. Our book processing program and patron management program, we are paying just a very small portion of that because we're a smaller library. There's no way, it would be more, almost double what my budget is just to pay for that program, to be able to process our books in and out and to manage our patron work. So we're getting a real plus by being an affiliate. The only problem is, at least I know since the 3 years I've been associated with the library, the costs have just skyrocketed everywhere. I was initially with books, I was able to get a certain number of books, and now it's probably been reduced by a third because the cost of everything's gone up, the publishing cost, the cost of doing everything. We've also increased usage at the library because of the computer systems we have there and Wi-Fi access. I would say probably on an average in the wintertime, we maybe have 10 people a day, maybe going up to 15 or more. In the summertime, sometimes we've had 60 people in there in a day. And what happens is people have come in to use the computers
And then they look around and say, gosh, I didn't even know this library was here on the island. So then they ask if they can get a card, and they begin taking out books, or they see that we rent DVDs or VHS tapes, so they come to do that. We have people who come when we're closed to sit on the bench and access their Wi-Fi devices, and then they'll come in if we are open to use the bathroom or to get some water. And again, I've heard, gosh, I've never been in here. I didn't even know this was here. So, and I've had people come in and they're very impressed with the books we have right now and the reading materials. Wow, I wish our library at home had this much. So, and we've been getting a lot of positive strokes, and we want to keep that up. But in order to keep that up, we have to, pay for those books and reading materials and computer usage and everything in. The Friends of the Library is an organization that started when the library was founded 46 years ago. And they're very supportive, and the monies that they give on different fundraisers and that, if I ask for a request for materials or shelving or computers, because the computer has gone down, they comply. The issue that we have with that is because you don't know how many donors you're going to have a year, paying into the Friends of the Library, and how much you're going to make on fundraisers. So when I've been looking at the budget, and I've been told from the powers to be and people who understand it far more than I do, you have to have a stable budget. You can't depend on bake sales and selling cookies and things like that, because you don't know how it's going to be. So my goal for the library is to have it be totally self-sufficient, and that then we can use the Friends of the Library or any extra donors, that maybe want to give us something out of the blue for special projects that we want to do. But in order to operate the library, we need a stable budget. And we have never asked for an increase since the library was open. And we're operating on $250,000 when all the other affiliates and every library I've checked in various areas downstate, out of the state, they're operating on $500,000 or more. I've had people come up for the summer residents that say, we don't know how you're doing this on $250,000. And I'm sure those summer residents, if they could vote, would be very supportive, because they know what it costs, to run the library. So what we're hoping to do, we come up for a millage vote this year, which is our normal time. We are going to ask on the ballot for a $250,000 renewal and then a $250,000 increase. And probably Randy or Georgie might be able to be, know more accurately, but I kind of been asking some of the residents around what their taxes were for the library, people with different incomes and different properties, sizes, and them. And it looks to me like it's going to be an average of maybe asking an increase between maybe $8 and $14 per family if they pay another, $250,000. And I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I think if you look at your tax access and thing, it says, I think the library is one of the lowest ones that the money is, allocated for. But it is a community building. It is a community use. And so my hope is that the patrons who use the library, who have voting ability, will support the library in this. We don't want to go backwards. We only want to go forwards. We just keep getting an increase in patronage. And if we could become self-sufficient, then we would know that every year, as these increases go up, we won't be sliding backwards on what we can offer. I don't think there's anything else. I guess basically that's what we're asking the public for. We would like any input from the public. I've always asked patrons as they come in, if you have any constructive comments about the library, please let us know. We'd like to make improvements how we can. But the only thing which is a constant, like Blaine knows, is we need more space. And that's been one issue that people have always said, well, if you had a little more space for like a private room where we could do this, or more seating area so when we come in we can sit and read. That I don't. Yeah. That's up in the air. I do want to clarify one thing though. I have had some citizens and community residents come in who were under the impression that we were being subsidized by the school, and we have been fortunate fact that we're connected to the school pays for the rent, and the school system pays for our electricity and our heat. Everything else, we get no other monies to operate the library. We do service the school, we service the students even when they leave our elementary school, they can come back and still use our facility. And if you have a card for the library, you can use it in any library in the Upper Peninsula. So if you're in Marquette, you can go into Peter White and use your card. You can also download ebooks from any of the books, or any of the libraries in the UP. You can also get library loans from any library in the country. We can do that. Right now, because we're not a complete, we're still just an affiliate, we're not under the housing of Superior totally. We have to pay for the mailage. You know, if say we get something, I had a gentleman come in and wanted a book and it came from Hawaii. And so when I sent it back, it cost me like $6 or something. So that comes out of our budget. If we were a total member of Superior, we would be in an interlibrary loan where they would cover that. Right now, Superior is kind of covering our overflow expenses, and that's something that we cannot continue to do. If we do not pass the increase, even with our renewal, say we just pass the renewal portion and we continue with our same budget, we are going to have to start cutting things at the library. Whether it's going to be services, it can also be materials, because we cannot keep operating at what we have right now because they are covering the overflow for us. And they cannot do that as long as we're an independent affiliate. Yeah. So, oxymoron, but that's sort of how things are functioning right now. Okay.
That library started when actually Carl and Marion Forsman and Sally Launderville and a bunch of the doctors that lived down at Third Bay in that area down in there came in and wanted to put that in there, and particularly Carl and Marion made some donations there of books and shelves and furniture, and we got it started in one unused classroom in the school there, and it has grown a little bit and been fixed up a little bit ever since. When we added on to the school, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, been a while, we remodeled that area down there so that the library got to move out into the hallway and down around the corner. We changed the entrance to what is now a kind of a music room down there and gave the library more room. That was done at your expense, I guess, as part of the add-on to the school. And they talked about having another add-on there. Well, that's not going to happen, I don't think. But we did add on, they did get more space, and the school furnishes that room that they have there at the school's expense. And the library is a good thing for the school, so it's a good trade. Township, for quite a few years now, has collected millage and had a contract with the library and the student to operate that thing, so that the school furnished the room and we furnished some money for operating the thing, and we still do. And I had an awful time with getting a budget out of those people. So I guess they just like to lend people books. They didn't want to talk about money. And I tell them, give me a budget. Tell me how much money you need. Maybe something we can do for you. Well, a couple of years ago, we were collecting $28,000, $29,000 a year and only paying them $25,000 roughly. So we had some money that kept building up, like some of these accounts do, and could only be spent on the library. Well, we increased the amount after they changed people running the place up there. And again, last year, the year before, Pam talked to us, and we went up to $30,000 a year that we've been giving them. And we're collecting, like I say, about $29,000 for that $250,000. But we had some money in the bank, so we could pay that. that's not gonna last forever, and we're gonna have a renewal coming up. I personally think the library is an asset to the community that we wouldn't wanna lose. Many years ago, I insisted that it be put in the school because the school kids needed a library, and they got one. And I think they still do it, I don't know. We used to set aside a little time each week for each classroom to go to the library, and then they could go other times also. It has been an asset to this community. And if you people agree, the township will put on the ballot the $250,000 that we've been getting, and a $250,000 for increased services. Part of that, the Friends of the Library have been paying for some of the expenses, and that millage would pick that up. The Friends of the Library would be able to do, like you see the other Friends of the Library in the area doing. They'd be able to pay for programs coming in here or authors coming in. They'd be able to expand the offerings at the library because it would have money that they are currently spending just to keep the place open. And so I think if there's no loud objection, I think we will put it on the ballot this summer, and you get to decide. Yes.
If we're only generating like $29,000 from the millage, I think that'd be an excellent thing for the community to know that those services are being provided with only $29,000. So.
Well, it costs more than that because the Friends of the Library they're paying another, what, $8,000 or $10,000 to keep things going there. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Frank, it's anywhere between $7,800 to about $12,000, maybe $13,000 a year that we pay. Friends of the Library pay to the library to help them. And these are direct costs to the library that are on behalf of the library. The biggest chunk of that has been the McNaughton program. It's where we lease books. That's over $4,200 a year, or $5,200 a year. And that's a lot of pies and cookies and stuff, guys. You can say, but anyway, so yes, we've been subsidizing for a while.
I was shocked at $29,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else? It'd be up to you, I guess, what you want to do with it, but we'll see that the opportunity is there. Okay, we got the library discussion. Dump day, we already said the 11th, 12th, and 13th of June.
And just, I want people to know that the meeting times are going to be at 6 p.m. on election nights or days, and not 7:30.
Yeah,
So we'll have our May election, our August election, and our November election. Those dates will be 6 p.m.
Yeah, and then we'll post that. In fact, the whole schedule will be posted when we've been at 7:30 on the first Tuesday for 45, 47 years. And I don't see any particular reason to change it except that when there is an election going on and our meeting is on the same day, they cause a little trouble with each other. So they will be posted and it will be at 6 o'clock. Oh, this is, okay. That finishes the annual meeting, so I guess we had a motion to accept the budget. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Yes, Ray, and there you go. No, we got, yeah, Dave Bardsley made second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Now we have to call a special meeting of the Township Board to order because this board has to pass the budget before the 1st of April. And our next scheduled meeting would be after the 1st of April. Have that meeting because we won't have anything to do by then. So I'm going to call the special meeting to order, and we have 2 or 3 things that we have to do in that meeting. One is a motion to pay the bills, as you have listed here. I've got it right here in front of me. And if you guys would like to see this, you're certainly welcome to. Moved and supported, we pay the bill. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We need a motion to accept the budget. Moved and supported, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Do we have anything else to vote on that? That's it? All right, then we can have a motion to
Make a motion to
adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
So, Blaine and Kate.
Hmm?
And
Tell them about the news lodge if anybody wants to go.
What do you say? Oh, yeah, Dwayne's buying.
All right.
Well, I'm not going to the news lodge.